Hi everyone, it's Laura here, and in today's video I'm going to share with you how to create 3 clean and simple cards using the Ho Ho Holiday stamp set by Lawn Fawn. This video is part of a collaboration with my sweet friends Mona Tóth and Simone. They are incredibly talented and we challenged each other to create 3 clean and simple cards using one holiday themed stamp set only by Lawn Fawn. So make sure to check the description box down below for links to their channels where you can find videos featuring a different stamp set. And also stay tuned because there is a giveaway for you and I will talk about it later on during the video. For my first card, I did some masked stamping and I did all my coloring with Illustrator markers. I started off by creating my masks on some repositionable packaging labels. I stamped all the images in the set and I'm cutting them right along the stamped lines using my CAS Cutter B scissors. These scissors are very precise and they are my go-to when I do fussy cutting. For my masks, I like to use repositionable packaging labels because they are pretty inexpensive, they last a long time because you get quite a few in a package, and I find that they work really well with distress inks and oxides, and I have used them in a couple of occasions with Illustrator markers too, and with a little bit of caution, they hold up pretty well. Once I was done cutting all my masks, I went ahead and started stamping the images on my card base. This is some Neenah Solar White 110 pounds cardstock that I cut with the largest die in the Lawn Fawn large stitched rectangle Stackables dies. I'm doing my stamping with Spectrum Noir alcohol-proof ink, and every time I stamp an image, I go ahead and I place my mask right on top, because I need to protect my area from the stamping I'll be doing next. With masked stamping, what you want to do is to stamp first the images that are in the foreground, and then go ahead and make your way through the background. So you see the first image that I stamped is the sleigh, and the last image that I'm stamping now is the reindeer that is on the very far back. I added masks to all the images and I also created some curved masks with some hillside dies. I used again the same repositionable packaging labels and I am adhering them on my card base so that I have a guide to color in my sky. I wanted to create a curved edge for the sky with the left portion being narrower than the right one because I felt this would add a little bit more interest to this clean and simple design. I then started coloring the images and as I said, for that I used my Illustrator markers. I started from the sky and as you can see I'm trying to be careful not to go over the masks too much. After all, this is basically printer paper in terms of thickness, so if you wet it too much with your ink, the ink will seep through and will ruin your masking job. I started by coating the entire sky with my BT3 marker. I then went in with the BT5 and I left a little bit of a blank space around the images. I then moved on to BT7, also having a narrower area that is covered with that marker, and then even a narrower area covered with my darker marker, which is the BT9. Basically what I'm trying to achieve is a gradient that is lighter around the images and darker as we move further away from the images, because this will basically guide the eye of the viewer towards the images and emphasize them even more. As you can see, I'm going over those areas with quite a few layers to get a nice and smooth blend. And once I'm done with that, I can go ahead and remove the masks to color the rest of the images. You can see that there was a little bit of bleeding in some areas and I will fix that with a white gel pen and my Illustrator markers later on, but for now I wanted to focus on coloring the rest of the images. I'm going to speed up the coloring process quite a bit because there are 3 cards to talk about in this video and I didn't want to keep you here for too long. I am using a traditional Christmas palette with Santa colored with red markers, and then I'm going to use some browns for the reindeer and the sleigh. I colored the nose of the reindeer in the front with my red markers because I want him to look as if he's Rudolph, and in general I'm using 3 to 4 shades per color, and this way I can achieve a nice depth and give dimension to the images. While I go ahead with the coloring, I wanted to talk about the collaboration a little bit more and the giveaways too. As I said, Marine, Simone, Mona, Tóth and I challenged each other to create 3 different clean and simple designs using one stamp set from the Lawn Fawn holiday range. We all picked a different stamp set and I really can't wait to see what they created. I'm sure they'll blow my mind with their cards. I have to admit that clean and simple cards are not my strong suit, but it was really fun to take this challenge and step outside my comfort zone, and I hope you'll enjoy the designs that I have for you today. To celebrate this fun collaboration, I'm giving away one $15 gift certificate to scrapbook.com to one lucky winner that will be drawn among the comments left on all the videos in this collaboration. So make sure to go and subscribe to Mona's and Marine's channel if you haven't already. If you're new to my channel, you can consider subscribing too and leave comments on all the videos in this collaboration to maximize your chances to win. The deadline for your comments is November the 26th, and I will announce the winners on my blog on November the 29th. If you want to make sure not to miss out the announcement post, you can subscribe to my newsletter. That will give you an additional entry as well, and you can find a link in the description box down below. There you will also find a list of all the products that I used to create today's card and all the details about the giveaway. Once I was done coloring, I went ahead and fixed the areas that weren't completely sharp on my sky. So I used a white gel pen, this is a Sakura number 8 Jelly Roll pen, to fix a little stain that I had on the top portion, and then I fixed the shape and the edges on the lower portion using my Illustrator markers. I used the fine tip to draw the contours, and then with the bullet tip I'm going to fill in the areas and blend them with the rest of the sky so that I get a nice and homogeneous look. And then with a Sakura, this time number 10 Jelly Roll pen, I'm going to add some stars to the sky by drawing dots of different sizes and a few crosses here and there to make it look as if the stars are twinkling. And I kept doing this until I filled the whole area. The next and final step was to stamp the sentiment. I used my mini Misty to curve it and follow the line on the bottom portion of the sky. I picked the one that reads Happy Ho Ho Holidays in the same set by Lawn Fawn. I stamped it with Cardinal red ink by scrapbook.com, and that finished off my first card. For my second card, I did some masked stamping and ink blending, using again stamps from the Ho Ho Holidays stamp set by Lawn Fawn. I started by stamping Mrs. Claus on the bottom right corner of my card front. Again, this is Neenah Solar White 110 pounds cardstock, cut to an A2 size with the Lawn Fawn large stitched rectangle Stackables dies. I stamped Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus so that they are holding hands, using again masks that I created from repositionable packaging labels. I created another mask using a heart-shaped die by Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to use it to mask off the area around Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus so that I have the open heart around them, and I'm going to fill the heart with my Distress Oxide in Picked Raspberry and my blending brushes by scrapbook.com. I'm using the brushes because they are a little bit easier on the masks and I don't risk pulling them up and actually adding the ink on my stamped images. Because the heart is a stitched die, there will be a stitched detail around the ink blended heart, which I felt was going to add even more interest to the card. Once the ink blending was over, I peeled off all the masks and I started doing some more coloring with my Spectrum Noir and Illustrator markers. Whenever I have gap in my Illustrator marker collection, I used my Spectrum Noir originals to fill those gaps, and the two work really well together. Again, going for a very traditional color palette and using 3 markers per color. I kept the coloring in the video cause I thought you might want to still see it, but I sped it up so that it doesn't take too much time from the video itself. Another small announcement I wanted to make is that today is the start of pre-Black Friday week on scrapbook.com, so you will find offers and discounts and freebies as well. I will have all the information in the description box down below, so again, make sure to check that out for details on the sales and the giveaways, and for links to Mona's and Marine's channel. For my sentiment, I picked another greeting from the Ho Ho Holidays stamp set by Lawn Fawn, and I stamped it with Cardinal Red Hybrid Ink by scrapbook.com. And then I decided that I wanted to add a white border around Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus to sort of make them pop a little bit more against that ink blended heart. As I said, clean and simple cards do not come natural to me. I always want to keep adding more, so I thought this would be subtle enough not to make this not a clean and simple card, but also add an extra touch to it. The pen that I'm using is a Sakura Jelly Roll pen number 8, and that finished off card number 2. For my third and final card, I decided to use the Gina K Wreath Builder to create a fun design. I'm going to create a wreath with Christmas presents, and I'm going to have the reindeer at the center. The way you use the Wreath Builder is pretty easy. You prepare a card front that can be square or rectangular, as I'm doing now, and you tuck it in the openings of the stencil. You stamp your image and then you rotate it so that you tuck it in the next set of holes that are made for you, and then you stamp again, and then you keep rotating and stamping until you complete the circle. There are 2 sizes, one is a 4-inch wide square and the other is a 3 3/4 inch square. I used the larger one and I have a panel that I die cut from some Neenah Solar White 110 pounds cardstock using the largest die in the Lawn Fawn small stitched rectangle Stackables die set. I'm using alcohol-proof ink by Spectrum Noir to do my stamping, and I'm going to create basically 3 circles of presents to fill in the area a little bit more. Now, I'm not sure if this still counts as a clean and simple card. Maybe I went a little bit overboard with the Christmas presents around the reindeer. I am not sure. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But anyway, once I was done stamping on my presents and I felt I had a balanced enough design, I went ahead and stamped this cute reindeer right in the center. I decided to flip the card and have a landscape layout this time, and off camera I colored the reindeer. I decided to skip that in the video because you have seen that already. I just wanted to show you the coloring for the presents, mostly because then you can see which markers I used. I colored them all with the same color combination, and then I stamped my sentiment using Spectrum Noir black ink. I did some masked stamping again because I just wanted the word Christmas. From the Merry Christmas stamp set, I used Happy Doodle memo tape to do the masking, and then I completed the greeting with the Have Hey sentiment, and then I used the word Jolly in the Be Jolly stamp, which I stamped with Memento Dewdrops in Love Letter. I adhered everything to an A2 sized panel that I die cut with the large stitch rectangle Stackables dies, also by Lawn Fawn, and that finished off card number 3. And here's a quick look at all 3 cards once they are all done and mounted on my card bases. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love for you to let me know which design was your favorite and whether you yourself like creating clean and simple cards, or if, like me, you struggle a little bit with this type of cards. Make sure to check the description box down below for all the details about the giveaway and the sales on scrapbook.com, and if you did enjoy this video, you can let me know with a comment and a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, you can subscribe for more card making and paper crafting inspiration. As always, thank you all so much for stopping by and have a great day.